Good morning, I'm Angelo Castro III.
I'm Angela and we are the Castros.
And yes, you see it and you hear it right. It's a Friday brunch time. And of course, pag Friday, we are joined by...
Buddha's Belly, di ba? We have fried rice, we have eggplant, fuyong, chicken feet, at saka, ano nga ito, Jeg?
Parang
Masarap yung kinakain na natin
Hofan
kanina
na rin, Hofan noodles.
sarap.
Basta that's Hofan noodles. Anyway, yan, every
Bago
Friday.
pa tayo nagsa-start, kinakain na natin kanina.
Yeah, and all our viewers, welcome to our Friday episode of Brunch. Of course, a lot of stories are unfolding before our very eyes. Kanina, we were taking a look at a live video of yung arraignment nila Apollo Quiboloy et
That's
al.
right.
Oo, di ba? Sa Pasig.
Sa Pasig,
Yeah, sa Pasig. Anyway,
Regional Trial Court. And later naman, yung kanyang arraignment sa Quezon City. Pero this time around, teleconference naman yun.
Ayan, so madami pa tayong news at mga pag-uusapan ng mga kwento. We're serving you news in a countdown.
All that before your second cup of coffee. This is Brunch.
Let's now begin our countdown with the Premier Volleyball League. Signal HD Spikers settled for a silver medal finish in the PVL Invitational Conference Finals after a 5-set loss to Creamline Cool Smashers on Thursday. The HD Spikers had a 3-1 card in the preliminaries, with its only loss coming from the Cool Smashers. Signal gutted out a hard-fought game over guest team Kurashiki Ablaze to reach the final round. Creamline took the PVL Invitational crown, completing a season Grand Slam. They also won the All-Filipino Conference and Reinforced Conference. Yon, pasensya na, Ablaze. Kala ko, Kuroshiki Ablaze. At nag-ablase tuloy ako eh. Ay nako, happy Friday mga kababayan.
Kumain ka muna. Feeling ko gutom ka, but congratulations pa rin sa Signal.
Alam mo, every time we talk about volleyball, parang more and more parang gusto ko manood more of the games kasi napaka-exciting at intense na mga games eh.
Sige, sa susunod, punta tayo nood.
Although, hindi na ako makaka-volleyball dahil hindi ako makatalon.
Nood na lang tayo.
Nood na lang tayo.
At support na lang tayo. But of course, sige, let's continue with our countdown. Severe tropical storm Bebinca is expected to enter the Philippine area of responsibility today. Once it enters PAR, it will be renamed as Ferdy. To get the latest on this, we have Pag-asa weather forecaster. Sino ba makakasama natin ngayon? Good morning po. Anak Lauren, good morning po.
Hello po, magandang umaga po sa ating lahat.
Nasaan na po ba ngayon itong si Bebinca and anong oras po ba ito papasok dito sa Philippine Area of Responsibility?
Yes po, ito pong bagyong si Bebinca ay huli po natin namataan sa line 1,605 kilometers silangan po na extreme northern Luzon. At sa ating pagtaya ho ay papasok ito sa ating area of responsibility ngayong hapon or mamayang gabi. Po natin ito inaasahan na papasok sa ating PAR. Ngunit nasa northeastern boundary o nasa corner lamang po ito papasok ng ating PAR. Kaya by tomorrow morning ay ina-expect po natin na ito ay lalabas na rin agad ng ating area of responsibility.
Oh, yes, Ana, anong klaseng effect ang mararamdaman natin sa northern and Metro Manila and southern areas kahit hindi po pumasok ng PAR ito? May dalang habagat ba ito? May hinihilang habagat?
Yes, tama po kayo sir, no? So currently, or ngayong araw, na-expect po natin yung heavy to intense na mga pag-ulan due to the southwest monsoon sa Mimaropa, Western Visayas, Sorsogon, Masbate, and Negros Occidental, while moderate to heavy rains are expected over Batangas, Quezon, the rest of Bicol, and the rest of Visayas. At dito ho sa atin sa Metro Manila, generally mostly cloudy po yung ating panahon ngayong araw at may mga chance ho na mga light to moderate rains. But over the weekend po, in-expect natin na magtutuloy-tuloy o continuous rains will prevail over the Maropa area, Western Visayas, and Negros Island region. At dito sa atin sa Metro Manila, bukas po ay posibleng makaranas po tayo ng mga moderate to heavy na mga pag-ulan due to the southwest monsoon.
Doon po sa mga mararanasan natin ng mga pag-ulan tomorrow na nabanggit niyo, Miss Ana, no? Mga ilang oras po ba yon na mararanasan yung mga pag-ulan?
Yes, so dito po sa Metro Manila, yung mga pag-ulan po natin ay posibleng mag-start mamayang gabi hanggang madaling araw o papaumaga po. Yun po yung kapag may habagat po kasi tayo, yung pattern ng ulan po natin ay mostly papaumaga or yung madaling araw po. And then umaga, papatanghali, medyo mababawasan po yung intensity ng mga pag-ulan po natin. And then hapon, gabi, doon po ulit tayo makakaranas ng mga pag-ulan po dito sa Metro Manila.
Yes, Ana, the last time we all spoke, parang sinabi natin na we expect at least 2 more weather disturbances this September. Do we expect another weather system po after this si Bibingka?
Yes po, after this Bebingkan or magiging si Ferdy na po ito pagpasok ng ating PAR. So we're still expecting 1 or 2 tropical cyclones po na posibleng maka-apekto sa ating bansa na kung saan. Ngayon nga po sir, no, nakikita natin na after po nitong si Ferdy or kapag medyo nakalayo-layo na ho ito, meron na naman po tayong medyo nakikita na posible po ulit na maging LPA or di natin nirule out na baka maging bagyo rin po ito sa may silangang bahagi po ng Southern Luzon or silangang bahagi po ng Visayas in the coming days. So, kapag nangyari po ito na magkaroon po ulit ng panibagong sirkulasyon or panibagong sama ng panahon po dyan sa may silangang bahagi nating bansa, ay magtutuloy-tuloy ho yung habagat po natin, hindi lang hanggang sa weekend, pati na rin po sa early next week, posibleng may mga habagat or posibleng may bagyo po tayong i-monitor po ulit by next week. Kaya patuloy ho tayo mag-antabay sa mga update po ng Pag-asa.
Finally, Ana, madami nagtatanong, no, since September na nga, do we anticipate na yung temperature natin medyong bumababa ng konti at lumalamig na ng konti?
Opo, yung sa temperatura naman po natin, dahil po sa mga pag-ulan, relatively medyo bumababa po ito kumpara nung nasa tag-init po tayo na kung saan yung mga maximum temperature po natin around 35, 36 degrees Celsius, but ngayon po nasa around 32 to 33 degrees Celsius, pero mainit pa rin naman ho yung sa pakiramdam po natin, no? Pero kapag dumating na po yung northeast monsoon season natin or yung habagat, or yung amihan po natin na tinatawag, yes po, yan po ay nangyayari kapag November, December, so yun po talaga yung kumbaga po simula po ng paglamig po o pagbaba ng temperatura po natin.
Alright, maraming salamat po muli sa inyong oras. That was Pag-asa Weather Forecaster, Ana Cloren.
Next in our countdown. The number of dengue cases in the country continues to increase. The health department has recorded nearly 209,000 infections so far this year. Now, this is 68% higher than the number of infections reported in the same period of last year. All regions except Mimaropa, Bicol, Zamboanga, and Bangsamoro recently showed an increase in dengue cases. DOH Secretary Ted Herbosa says the government must take immediate action to address the issue.
Let's talk more about the rising cases of dengue.
We have with us DOH Assistant Secretary Albert Domingo on Zoom. Thank you very much, Asek, for joining us once again on Brunch.
Hi, Asek.
Yes, hi. Good morning, Angelo and Angela. Thank you so much for having DOH here on your show today.
Asek, no, year in and year out, we all know naman na there's an increase of dengue cases, especially itong tag-ulan. No? But particularly this year, is there a different, you see an increase year on as comparative to last year?
Yeah, compared to last year, we are actually seeing parang 68% higher yung ating numbers. We have 208,965 cases this year compared to around 124,000 last year for the same period. We're looking at the climate crisis. This is a seasonal disease. We know that when there's a lot of water, talagang magkakaroon ng maraming stagnant water everywhere. And often kahit sabihin natin na para bang we're trying to cope or we're coping with it, syempre, it's the onslaught of the weather. Parang ang daming volume ng tubig, so maraming opportunities for our vector, which is the mosquito. And I'm seeing on the monitor now to actually grow up and propagate.
Kamustahin na rin po namin, Asek, yung yung dengue vaccines. Meron po ba tayo ngayon? Do we have enough? Ano po ang update natin sa Q-Dengue shot?
I would like to give you an update, no, but I'm not the FDA spokesperson. And let's wait for updates from them.
Yes, Asek, I'd like to ask also, no, kasi just for the parang information sa kababayan natin, a lot of them are talking about this online. Ano ba talaga ang mga types of dengue na nangyayari? Kasi sabi nila may 4 or 5 varieties, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, Angelo. There are four dengue serotypes. The virus itself, so DENV, may DENV1, DENV2,
Okay.
3, and 4. Another possible explanation for the increase in cases this year compared to last year, meron kasing parang cycle na sinusunod yan eh. Pag ang kababayan natin ay nakagat ng lamok na sabihin natin na DENV2, kung hindi siya nakagat pa ng lamok na DENV1, 3, or 4 before, pwede pa siyang magkaroon ng dengue uli. Yun yung nakikita natin. So maaaring that's one possible explanation. But to reassure all of our watchers and listeners, marami po ang cases sa dengue are what you call mild, meaning actually maraming asymptomatic sa totoo lang. They will test positive on NS1, yung ating dengue antigen test, pero wala naman talaga silang symptoms.
Yeah.
Only around 1% of cases would actually be severe dengue.
So I'd like to clarify lang nga, Ase, kasi ako I've had dengue 4 times. So if you've had all 4, does that mean you're immune from further attacks?
If we are sure, Angelo, so
Yeah.
you may have had dengue 4 times, but it's possible rin kasi na not all of them are like 1, 2, 3, 4. Immunity is high if you've had it before, but it's not an absolute guarantee.
Okay.
Oh, pwede pa rin,
Pwede
no?
pa rin.
Just in case. Pero, syempre, we would like to know ano po ba role ng DOH when it comes nga po dito sa dengue mitigation, and yung mga paalala po natin sa ating mga kababayan regarding this.
The role of DOH, Angela, is more on the information aspect. That's why I'm very happy to take this call. That's one. And number 2 is also on the hospitalization aspect, because our, shall we say, tertiary referral centers where the complicated cases most often end up, those are mostly owned by the DOH when it comes to the public sector. We also have, of course, our private sector partners. Pero doon kami nakafocus. And also doon sa ating sinasabing strategy na 4S, kasi di ba, number 1 is search and destroy mosquito breeding grounds. Yan, pang LGU yan. Kasi kailangan talaga kasama natin sila kapitan, di ba? Sila mayor,
Right.
sila governor. Na lalo na ngayon, it's a good opportunity na magpakilala ho. So habang nagpapakilala tayo, it's election season. Magwalis-walis na rin ho tayo. Tsaka maglinis tayo ng kapaligiran. That's one. Yung number 2, yung use self-protection measures. Yan naman, that's an individual behavior. So the information here is wear long sleeves, di ba? Put mosquito repellent kung meron tayo. Yung number 3 sa 4S, doon papasok tayo, Angelo and Angela, yung seek early consultation. In fact, pag sinabi sa ating mga hospital na dengue fast lanes, it's not like meron kang makikitang lane na merong parang harang. Ibig sabihin lang doon is, if the doctor sa triage sees that you have signs and symptoms that could be dengue, then you will be prioritized, not because you're special, not because you're a VIP, but because early detection is important when it comes to dengue. And then yung 4th na sa S natin is yung sinasabing support fogging and misting where there is a hotspot. You notice na our LGUs are now confident in declaring, and when they say outbreak, wag ho tayong matatakot na parang hala, delikado kasi may outbreak. It only means na ina-acknowledge ng LGU na tumaas yung numero sa lugar nila and they are responding to it. At kasama doon, yung mga lumilipad na lamok, pinapatay using fogging and misting. Tapos dapat yung mga kitikite sa cleanup drive pa rin.
Oo. Ito, Asik, may mga tanong talaga, no? Kasi sinasabi nung iba, like ako din, personal experience, madalas ako talagang kagati ng lamok ako. Pero may mga kakilala ako na parang ang dami ko ng pantal, katabi ko naman sila. Sila hindi naman
Parang-
sila kinakagat.
Parang alam
Oo.
ko kung sino yan, no?
Yan ang mga explanation dyan, Asik.
I wonder what the blood type of that person is. No. So actually, when I hinted, so there are some studies that may indicate, I use carefully the word no, may indicate kasi hindi naman siya hard and fast scientific rule, but there are preliminary studies. Sabi nila na depende daw sa blood type. Yung iba naman nagsasabi depende sa sa breath, not kung mabaho or okay yung breath niya, pero yung carbon dioxide content. Some studies have also pointed out and this might be a helpful tip na mosquitoes daw prefer dark colors. So actually, sinasabi nila para iwas kagat, apart from the fact na magsuot ka ng long sleeves, mas maganda kung lighter colors. But all in all, that's why we focus on the messaging. It's about preventing the bite.
Totoo.
So whether or not kagatin ka o hindi, swerte ka lang na hindi ka kinakagat, pero it doesn't mean na never kang kakagatin.
Oo.
There is still that chance na merong lamok na hiyang sa'yo.
Oo. So,
Yeah, Asik, I'd like to ask also, no, kasi ang dami mga kababayan who have been asking na we've been dealing with dengue for a long, long time already and decades, no? But ang tanong nila is, why can't DOH mas tutukan daw nila sana ang LGU sa mga hindi nag-act upon possible dengue hotspots, it's because kayo daw ang may knowledge naman of how to prevent dengue, how to anong pwedeng gamot gamitin pag mag-clean up drive. Mga ibang LGU kasi daw di daw nila pinapansin yung mga messaging nyo.
Actually, pinapansin namin, hindi namin pinapansin. We look at the data and we provide the information. Pero yan kasi yung sistema natin medyo mapupunta tayo sa usapang constitution yan. Tawag natin dyan local government autonomy.
Yeah.
There is an agency who can actually tell the LGUs, and they are telling the LGUs, they're calling their attention. Yun pong Department of Interior and Local Government, DILG. So ang process po na nangyari ngayon, si DOH, kami yung nakakita ng datos. Pino-forward namin yung data, number one, sa LGU mismo para walang gulatan, Mayor, Governor, ganito na yung dami ng dengue sa lugar ninyo. Pero pag di nila pinapansin, hindi yung si DOH yung may duty na magsasabing kailangan nilang kumilos. Tinitimbrehan namin sila Secretary Abalos and his representatives doon po sa local areas. Kasi meron yan ang ating mga cities and municipalities, merong tinatawag na DILG representative or officer. And sila po yung nagpapaalala sa ating mga local chief executives.
Ayun, Asek, palambig naman taking this opportunity to ask you na rin regarding MPOX. Baka po may update tayo dyan. And what else can you tell us about MPOX here in the Philippines?
Actually, Angela, so thank you for that opportunity. In-anticipate ko tatanungin niyo. And ang response naman namin ni Secretary Ted is, wag ho tayong mababahala sa bilang. No? Hindi ibig sabihin na dumadami yung bilang ay nagkakagulo na kumakalat. Hindi po. Sa pandemic management, this is not, in the first place, it's not even a pandemic at this stage. No? But sa disease control and prevention, pag nakita nating nakakakita tayo ng kaso, ibig sabihin hindi tayo bulag. We are aware of what's going on around us and we are able to control it. Yung paulit-ulit namin sinasabi na Clade 2, yun yung pinagkaiba din sa Clade 1B na inaabangan natin. We always say it's only a matter of time before it hits us. But Clade 2 is giving us an opportunity and the number is now active cases at 15. There will be, I'm not even saying there may be, I'm gonna say there will be more cases coming in because we are testing a lot. Remember nung simula ni I don't want to compare it kasi natatatrauma yung mga tao but I just have to. Remember nung COVID-19 ang laging bukang bibig ng WHO, test.
Yeah.
Diba? Nung nagsimula, diba? So ngayon, ayaw nga naming sabihin kasi pag sinabi kong test, baka sabihin ng tao, what's next? Lockdown? No. We will not. Hindi kasi nagkaroon tayo ng very fresh image in our minds. Even ako, as a doctor who studied it, we all experience it together, the COVID-19 pandemic. It doesn't mean that those steps will happen again. It only means that we have a template and we know na, ngayon hindi kailangan mag-lockdown kasi hindi siya airborne. Skin to skin siya. At pag nakakita tayo ng cases, current active case count 15, probably next week magpo-press con kami. Kasi sabi namin, imbis na para tayong basketball game na every time nagsushoot, parang, score. Di ba? Alam natin sa basketball na naka-hype yung mga tao. And that leads to mental health problems and anxiety. So it's better for us to give a summary description and the summary description is out of 15 cases. Isa lang yung babae, isa yung bata, yung others are male in their I think mid-20s to late 30s. That mode of transmission is the same. It's skin-to-skin contact, no? A lot of them sexual contact, but there are also non-sexual contact like yung babaeng 26-year-old, isa siyang health worker na tingin namin ay nakuha in the course of work. So the solution is simple, reiteration of infection prevention and control measures. Yun naman pong sa bata, tingin namin baka nakuha sa isang member of the household, baka na-transmit, pero we're still looking into the details kung paano nga ba niya nakuha. So, yun pa rin yung key messages. Hindi kailangan mag-face mask. Hindi required. Kung gusto, wala namang masama. Pero hindi required kasi hindi siya airborne.
All right. Thank you for that. And thank you for joining us, DOH Assistant Secretary Albert Domingo.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you, Angelo and Angela. Good morning.
Morning.
All right, coming up. She may not like it, but lawmakers decided to slash the Office of the Vice President's budget for 2025. Magkano na lang kaya ang natira?
And a Bureau of Corrections officer flipped his stance and confirmed that former President Rodrigo Duterte called him after the death of alleged drug lords in 2016. Naku, ano kaya sinabi ng dating Pangulo sa kanya? Simanet, Pangulo. Puro ano
Mainit-init ang usapin.
Nakita mo yung dalawang isa yan, Duterte ang involved.
Oo nga, isang yung anak, yung vice president, and isa yung former president.
Oo, daughter and father.
Oh, Friday the 13th nga pala ngayon, ano? Sa pinaalala sa atin ni Susan.
Payday weekend sa marami.
Right. Pero marami pa tayong pag-uusapan. We are just getting started, mga kapatid. More of our top 10 news when Brunch returns. Keep it here on One News. Sabi niya. Good morning. You're still watching Brunch here on One News.
Good morning sa mga brunchies, Buddha's Belly, pabawas ng pabawas, kada
Mamaya,
gap.
try namin bumate kasi medyo siksik talaga tayo ngayon. No? May
Siksik,
mga
diglig.
Paano?
Go!
Sige, let's continue with our countdown. Going straight now to our 7th spot, former Palawan Governor Joel Reyes is set to face a murder case over the killing of broadcast journalist Jerry Ortega. Justice Secretary Boying Remulla said they will pursue a murder charge after Reyes surrendered to the NBI. Reyes is alleged mastermind behind the 2011 killing Ortega, who was a critic of Reyes's mining activities and alleged corruption. The former governor is also facing graft charges before the Sandigan Bayan. Oh, meron din siyang kaso tungkol sa Malampaya, di ba? If I can
Matagal ng kaso to, di ba?
Ano siya ngayon, nasa hospital daw under NBI. May ginagamot autoimmune disease at saka anemia.
Okay.
Bigay tayo ng update dyan. But
Sige.
for the meantime, let's continue with our countdown.
Sizzling at the 6th spot is about the Escoda Shoal. The Philippines maintained its rights over the contested Escoda Shoal in the West Philippine Sea. Foreign Affairs Undersecretary Maria Teresa Lazaro told Chinese Vice Foreign Minister Chen Jiaodong in Beijing that Escoda Shoal is part of the country's exclusive economic zone. This is her response to Chen's order to remove BRP Teresa Magbanwa in Escoda Shoal. Before this, China warned that it will, quote, crush any foreign incursions in its claimed territory in the South China Sea. To further analyze this news, we have International Development and Security Cooperation President Chester Cabalza.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us today.
Good morning. Thank you, Ms. Anne and Sir Diego.
Yeah, this is Angela po. All right.
Hi,
Sige.
Miss Angela. Yeah.
Alright, tanungin na lang po namin, what do you think of Foreign Affairs Undersecretary Lazaro's statement to China's officials?
Well, she's very correct with that statement because if you try to look at the map of the West Philippine Sea where Escoda Shoal is located, it is really part of the exclusive economic zone of the Philippines because that's very close to mainland Palawan, no more than Mischief Reef. So that means that if China contains and gets Escoda Shoal, then it becomes a buffer zone for China. So napakalapit na nila sa atin. And look at the reasons why they wanted to take over that. No, one, every time we have a resupply mission to Ayungin Shoal, to the second Thomas Shoal, our vessels pass through Escoda. So for them to blockade it and close the door for any resupply and provisional missions, they have to take over Sabina or Escoda Shoal. So I think that's the easiest way for them to contain us, and because their objective is either to tow away or if not sink BRP Magbanwa. You see how they ram it decisively, and of course the main objective is to sink BRP Sierra Madre.
Yes, yes.
No? So kita ninyo yung consequence of their actions. And right now, they want to show their might because might is right is their thinking. But that is unacceptable because
Yes.
we should be using international laws, and rules-based norm should prevail.
That's right.
And I think that's where what we are contesting so far.
Yes. Yes, Chester, you mentioned China wants to show its might. But what do you think of China's most recent warning? How should the Philippines take it? Kasi we've seen over the last 3 or 4 months an escalation of how China is behaving. Now, you saw what they did yung yung flares sa atin Air Force, di ba? And then you have the ramming incident, naputol yung daliri ng personnel natin. Medyo parang nag-escalate. So how should we take this warning now?
Well, yung ano nila, the word na ano yung ginamit nilang word, it's a big word, crush.
Yes.
It's almost similar to ramming. So, in other words, they've been doing that already. So there's nothing new with that. Meaning to say that they would, if you try to expound the meaning of what we have said, they will still continue with their grazon tactics.
Yes.
Meaning to say, because they have weak legal claims in the West Philippine Sea, particularly in Sabina Shoal, so their last resort would be to use violence. No, the end justifies the means, and for them that is the right mindset and thinking. But of course, that's contrary to world norm, to rules-based norm.
Yes.
Because the world survives through rules. Otherwise, if you have unanimous decision to do whatever you want there, then it becomes unruly, violent, and illegitimate. And we cannot accept that. We have to correct it. And China should also listen and listen to us, and at the same time, of course, follow international rules-based norms.
Kasi no, itong recent BCM nila, there's no major breakthrough on that. Although sabi nga nila, they promise to continue the discussion, the dialogue. Pero I was wondering po, how do we better protect BRP Teresa Magbanwa dito sa Escoda Shoal? And also, how do we accept, no, or how do we respond doon sa offer naman ng US to help us when it comes to mga resupply missions natin?
Ganito, nung before going answering that, no, there was a template in Ayungin Shoal. No, ganyan din yung ginawa nila. They don't want us to do the resupply mission, and then we expose their irresponsible actions until in the 9th PCM, nag-usap tayo. And ang naging resolution doon sa usapan doon is yes, you will continue with the resupply mission. No? So maayos yung naging negotiation sa Ayungin Shoal. And I think yun yung inaayos nila ngayon with Sabina Shoal. In the 10th BCM, that's what we're trying to iron out. No, kasi kaya ang statement ng DFA is it's part of EEZ of the Philippines. Kasi may maayos na usapan sa Ayungin Shoal eh. If you try to look at the geography, you have Mischief Reef na nakuha nila sa atin in 1995. Then you have Ayungin Shoal where the BRP Sierra Madre is located. Then you have the Escoda Shoal, the largest reef amongst those shoals and reefs there. And next one is the mainland Palawan. That strip of our coastline in Palawan. So, yun yung pinag-uusapan nila ngayon kung ano ang gagawin dun sa Escoda. And I think they are still discussing about it. So let's wait and see what happens there. Because dialogue is very important.
Yeah.
No? Diplomacy should rule out. So let's wait and see if China realizes that they are wrong and they will accept the proposal of the Philippines. No, kasi yung Ayungin Shoal, sila yung nagpatawag doon.
Yeah.
At sila yung tumupad doon sa usapan natin.
Okay.
Kaya tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung resupply mission natin.
Yes, I'd like to ask, no, kasi could it be that China is testing how the US will respond given parating na ang US election? So tinitimpla nila how they would respond. So they would see kung paano if a Republican comes in or a Democrat maintains its position sa US. They will see how far this treaty goes with the Philippines.
Yeah, it could be one of the scenarios, one of the perspectives. Kasi nga, atat na nga ang US na tumulong sa atin. It just so happened that we have decided to lead the pack and do it on our own because of the de-escalatory measurement coming from our government. But the swarming is really alarming and frightening. Although we're not saying that we're giving up, you still see the bravery and courage of the lone first-class BRP Magbanwater in spite of the many rammings that we have done. Yung ginawa nga nila crashing talaga yun eh. No? Binutas nila yung natin crash talaga yun, no?
Yeah.
That's the synonym of of ramming. So they've been doing that already. So there's nothing new with their statement.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. And of course, sinabi mo rin kanina, importante nga na may dialogue tayo and antayin natin kung ano pa yung mga pag-uusapan nila dun sa upcoming mga BCM nila ng China and the Philippines. But for the meantime, paano naman, anong gagawin ng PCG no, dun sa mga ongoing resupply missions nila, ongoing na maritime patrol doon sa areas of concern? How can they, improve their response doon sa mga harassment na nare-receive nila from China?
Well, of course, let's continue with our documentation, yung transparency natin, strategy. The world is watching us, and we've been telling the grazon tactics of China to the world. And the world responds positively with us. Habang binubuli at iniipit tayo ng China, mas tumadami yung kaibigan natin. The more countries, like-minded countries would want to forge defense agreements with us because they believe that we have to preserve rules-based order. That's the only way to not escalate it to any conflict or war. Otherwise, if you allow China to succeed with their unanimous action, then as if we are welcoming conflict and war. We don't want that to happen. So that's the reason why makita ninyo yung tapang ng Pilipino kahit mag-isa lang yung barko natin dyan, tolerant siya kasi sumusunod tayo sa pinapaniwalaan nating rules-based order.
Very quick na lang po, no? With that, yung sa having said that, sinabi nyo nga po, ay should we take on the offer of US na tulungan tayo pagka may mga maritime patrols tayo or yung ginagawa nating resupply missions?
Tingin ko pag nag-red alert na si BRP, si Coast Guard, sa ngayon hindi pa siya nag-red alert eh. Mukhang sa tansya ng Navy at ng Coast Guard kaya pa nila eh. Pag magsasabi naman sila yan na we need help, call a friend, ganyan na sila yan eh. So right now, kaya pa. Because of course, no, maganda rin na may rin tayo, may yabang factor tayo na kaya natin to. Ilaban natin ito on our own. Kasi ayaw natin nakawin nila yung kwento natin. Ayaw natin nakawin nila yung istorya natin. This is our story to the world. So we don't want that others will steal that story from us.
I like that. This is our
story to the world. Yan ang quote mamaya. Anyway, maraming salamat International Development and Security Cooperation President Chester Cabalza for joining us on the show.
Thank you very much.
Sige, tuloy-tuloy na tayo, ha? Coming in at our top 3, the Office of the Vice President's 2025 budget proposal was cut by more than half. According to the House Appropriations Committee, the OVP's funding now stands at 733.2 million pesos from over 2 billion pesos. Some of the Vice President's budget will be reallocated to the programs of the DSWD and DOH. VP Sara Duterte previously claimed that her office can work even without a budget. She also insisted that the issue is being politicized amid the impeachment talks against her.
She may not be
Top 5
impeached.
to pala ha, top 5.
She may not be impeached, she might be impeached.
No, dinideny yan na. Pero yun nga no, wag mo nating pangunahan dahil ito yung kumbaga proposal ng House of Representatives. So pag nag-usap yan sila ng Senado, feeling ko hindi naman din uubra yan dahil you have to remember she has allies also in the Senate.
Yeah, but wala yung numbers sa kanya. But kasi ang behavior niya will be taken into question. Kahit naman sa regular office work, if you're a department head and you're being asked to defend your budget kung bakit ganito at haharap ka sa boss ng kumpanya, di ba, malalaman ng boss whether you deserve the budget or not. Ngayon, kung hindi ka sisipot, bakit ka bibigyan ng budget na hinihingi mo? I'll give you the bare minimum operating expense. Basta may sweldo ka. Tinanggalan na nga siya ng satellite office They just gave her enough.
Marami kasi siyang mga satellite offices.
Actually, hindi tinanggal. Tinanggalan ng budget for satellite. Now, it's up to her daw if how they will iba-budget na lang bibigay na pera or if they will also accept donations like what former Vice President Leni Robredo did. She took in donations from the private sector.
I was wondering kung even before ba, that's a practice of a Vice President na magkaroon ng mga satellite offices. Kasi I remember yung Vice President Jojo Binay, doon siya sa may, Coconut Palace, diba? Tapos si Vice President Leni Robredo
sa dating Boracay Mansion.
Sa may New Manila. I remember that. I went to the inauguration niya noon. Tapos, kaya nga ngayon, tinatanong ko, is it usual practice before? Bakit siya may mga satellite offices?
The Vice President's office has always been a central office, different locations. What VP Sara explained sa ganyan is because she wanted being concurrent DepEd Secretary at the time, gusto niya lumapit sa mga constituents by having satellite office. Plus, sinabi na she's from the South. So gusto niya madaming offices din sa South. Diba?
So ngayon, hindi na siya DepEd Secretary din. So,
pero may satellite office.
May satellite office pa rin siya. Okay, sige, abangan natin kung ano yung magiging niyan. Pero sinabi naman niya, di ba, kahit wala kaming budget, sige, go lang, trabaho lang.
Let's move on. Coming in at the fourth spot is an interesting study. A US-based study reveals that former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, quote, publicly embraced China as a friend despite maritime disputes. Research group Aid Data reported that the Arroyo administration courted Chinese investments at a time when Beijing was actively working to bring local enterprises overseas. Beijing's development finance to the Philippines reached 950% during Arroyo's presidency. The Chinese investments dwindled during the Aquino administration but resurged when Rodrigo Duterte became president.
Oo. Sinabi nga dito before ni former President and now Congresswoman Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo noong 2019 dun sa isang forum na dinaluhan niya, China should be big uncle to ASEAN. Yun ang sinabi niya.
Should be. Totoo naman. I agree with that statement. Should be.
Should be.
But are they?
Oo.
Di ba? Yan ang question.
Yun nga pinapakita nga dun sa, I was reading about it kanina, dun sa mga investments na may graph sila dun eh. Pag dun sa time ni President Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo, medyo mataas yung investments nga ng nanggagaling sa China. Tapos pagdating nung kay late President Noynoy Aquino rather,
Pinoy,
medyo bumaba talaga kasi alam mo natin yung naging foreign anong tawag doon? Foreign policy niya. Tapos umakyat ulit nung pagdating kay President Rodrigo Duterte.
That's right.
Pero mas nagmahal nung pagdating kay hindi sila naging generous when it comes yun sa mga ang tawag doon yung mga percentage, yung ano nga yung word na yun nakalimutan ko.
Anyway,
pero yun ang pinapakita nila.
Also what you have
mga interest.
You have to remember tumaas ng investments during the Arroyo administration from Chinese counterparts, conglomerates. But you also may mga issues that were hounding the Arroyo administration coming from Chinese enterprises like the NBN-ZTE deal, di ba? That was
kaya nga sabi nila yung investment daw doon parang territorial centric kasi mas marami yung kay Pangulong Arroyo, mas marami sa Central Luzon.
Yes.
Yung parang ngayon ang sinasabi nila.
Tapos
yung build program ni
PRRD. All right, let's move on.
Lawmakers express concern over POGOs becoming e-gaming operations to evade law violations. Here's a report.
Some parts of the raided POGO hub in Porac, Pampanga were allegedly converted into burial sites. PAOK says some foreigners were buried inside the compound, according to some witnesses. The agency is now asking for a search warrant from a court to verify this claim. They are also coordinating with the embassies of China and Vietnam for the list of missing persons.
We will be applying for a court order para ma-exhume yung mga bodies kung meron man doon sa mga tinuro nilang sites.
Senator Win Gatchalian says some rescued POGO workers admitted that others were killed. With this, he says it's possible that there are burial sites inside the compound.
So possible na merong namatay doon at kasi kinuha nila yung passport eh. So parang walang personalities tong mga tao eh. Hindi natin alam kung sino. Pag tapatay ka, babaong ka nilang nila, tapon yung passport, wala na. Missing ka na kaagad.
Meanwhile, torture victims have filed a case against POGO managers Qin Ren Guo and Jiangxi Guang. The Justice Department has also recommended the filing of human trafficking and kidnapping charges. The two suspects are currently under the custody of Philippine authorities. They have to face their charges here in the country before facing possible deportation.
Yung organized crime nila lumipat dito, nagdala ng lagim. Kaya nga, yan ang isang dahilan kung bakit nangayaw na ang Pangulo sa POGO. Kasi kasama na yung social ills sa kaya itong criminal itong criminal aspect na hindi talaga katanggap-tanggap sa atin. Remember, wala pa tayo sa investigation ng mass grave sa Pampanga. Yun ay i-undertake pa natin.
During the Senate hearing, lawmakers expressed concern over POGOs becoming e-gaming operations. Gatchalian believes that e-gaming should be placed under stricter regulation.
So nakita namin may mga regulatory weaknesses dito sa e-gaming. Baka maging mas malala to sa mga susunod na panahon. So ang punto ko lang naman, kahit mawala yung POGO, dahil mawawala ang kita ng PAGCOR at ng BIR, yung e-gaming naman lumalaki siya. At nakita ko in the last 3 years, ang laki ng linaki niya, almost more than 100%. So in other words, napalitan ng e-gaming yung kita ng POGO.
Diyan tayo mag-iingat kasi yan yung mga pwede silang makalusot eh. Di ba yung mga e-gaming na may pinag-usapan
That's
din
why
natin yan. Ano ba yun? Yung license gaming, yung bago ng PAGCOR.
Pero that's why they said down na may draft na ready for the executive order PBBM to define yung closure ng POGO. Kasi madami nang kinakabahan. Teka lang, ano ba definition natin ng POGO? Because ang POGO is a combination between e-gaming and BPO. Ang problema, baka madamay daw ang ibang BPO entities na hindi naman POGO hub. So kaya they have the draft na pinag-aaralan ni PBBM before he signs it.
Totoo.
Oo.
Tapos balikan ko lang din yung naging unang part of the report, yung tungkol naman sa mga missing
Burial
persons
sites.
na ibabangga nila yung mga listahan kung meron silang listahan ng missing persons doon sa makikita nila doon sa allegedly burial sites. Ano. So wala pa naman silang nakukuhang kumbaga parang kasi 'di ba they're going to ask the court to exhume nga doon yung area ng Porac, Pampanga. But we will see kung makakakita nga talaga sila ng mga... Well, di ba sabi ko nga hindi tayo masasurprise kung meron because yung early on, ang mga nakita natin, yung mga torture chambers, di ba? Yung mga, pati mga videos sa tinotorture, nakita
Incinerators.
natin. Oh. Okay,
Don't
sige.
go away because we're not done yet. May dalawa pa tayo. Stay with us.
Ano kaya yun?
Welcome back. You're still watching Brunch
Bakit?
here on One News. Muntik na ikaw, no?
Muntik ko nang sabihin niya. Pero bati lang ako mabilis doon sa mga nanonood sa atin dito sa YouTube. Si Mark Santiago, Oscar N. Sabi niya, happy weekend, okay. And Senator Diego, sabi niya. At Daisy Cancio, Oscar,
Parang
Leonie Valdesoto, Logan James, yan mga nanonood sa atin. And of course, yung Reyes family na nanonood mula sa Kalumpang. Everyday silang
Parang
nanonood
sa tangkad
sa
ka
atin.
sa akin.
Oo nga, kasi nga mababa yung upuan mo. Si Mina Benales, Ralph Domingo, Alex Fuentes, Gary Field, Gary Co, Sampo Kimulgo, sino pa ba? Si Migs Ebron, yan, yung mga lagi na. VJ, di ba, lagi nanonood? Saka si Ate Ringo. Okay, sige.
Nakabendang Nico eh.
Sige,
All right, let's move on. On our top two, more alleged sexual abuse victims of Pastor Apollo Quiboloy have come forward. PNP spokesperson Colonel Jean Fajardo narrated the testimonies of the victims, some of whom were 12 years young. Fajardo says these girls were assigned specific days when they would be brought to the rooms of Quiboloy. They were allegedly manipulated into believing that what they were doing was in accordance with God's will. And if they will break the code of secrecy, they will be hunted by the so-called angels of death.
Itong particular na bata na to, ikaw ay pang Lunes, ikaw ay pang Tuesday, ikaw ay pang Wednesday, at paulit-ulit. Pagkatapos gamitin di umano ni Pastor Quiboloy itong mga bata, ang sinasabi sa kanila ay they are still pure, intact pa rin yung kanilang pagkababae dahil ang nakipagtalik sa kanila ay Espiritu ng Diyos.
Camp denied the allegation, saying these are fake and fabricated.
Hindi totoo yan. So, kilala ko si Pastor hindi lang bilang abogado but bilang kaibigan. Mabait si Pastor, very humble. Hindi mangyayari yung mga pinagsasabi ng mga allegation. I'm sure peke lahat yun.
Si Colonel Jean Fardo was also saying that they're looking at the angel of death story, whether they meant it as talagang hahabulin sila ng angels, mga spirits of God na tapos kakarmahin sila, or there is really a group, a physical group, an army na called Angels of Death na would seek retribution for Pastor Apollo Quiboloy if you betray him. So they don't know if it's di ba, hypothetical or ano, pero they're going to take a look at this. They're examining documents, hindi nila sinasabi totoo, hindi nila sinasabi fake, but of course they want to check out and vet muna the information
these
they
are
have.
serious allegations.
Very
kasi,
serious.
Di ba? At saka
12 years old.
Oo, at saka hindi lang isa or dalawa yung nag-a-allege, 'di ba? Yung nagbibintang
Multiple.
Nagsasabi nga tungkol dito against Pastor Apollo Quiboloy, but there are a number of people nga. Pero tingnan natin, 'di ba, kung base sa mga ebidensya especially, and kanina nga early on this show nabanggit nga natin kanina na nagpunta sa Pasig Regional Trial Court itong si Pastor Apollo Quiboloy and the rest of his 4 other co-accused para dun sa kanilang arraignment, which they pleaded not guilty, of course, no?
Yes,
yun ang
that's right.
inaasahan naman natin na kanilang magiging plead, and later
As
on
expected.
Friday afternoon ay
Quezon
yung
City.
arraignment naman nila sa Quezon City Regional Trial Court para doon naman sa kasong trafficking.
Pero teleconference daw.
Teleconference. Kasi yung kanina sa Pasig yung human trafficking, di ba?
All right, let's move on.
Emerging as our top story for today is the recent Quadcom hearing. Bucor Senior Superintendent Gerardo Padilla changed his statement and confirmed that he previously talked to former President Rodrigo Duterte after 3 alleged Chinese drug lords were killed in Davao. Here's the report.
Bureau of Corrections Senior Superintendent Gerardo Padilla previously denied accusations that he talked to former President Rodrigo Duterte in 2016. Recall that inmate Leopoldo Tan claimed that he heard Duterte over the phone praising Padilla for the death of the 3 alleged Chinese drug lords in the Davao Prison and Penal Farm in 2016. But in the Quad Committee hearing yesterday, Padilla changed his statement and admitted that Tan's claims were true.
Ang tumawag sa akin ay, ayon sa boses, ay dating President Rodrigo Roa Duterte at sinabing congrats, Superintendent Padilla. Job well done, pero grabe yung ginawang dinugahan.
So why did Padilla change his statement? He said he had to lie for the security of his family. Padilla also pointed out former Criminal Investigation and Detection Group Central Visayas officer and PCSO General Manager Rayina Garma as the one who called him about the operation in the prison. Garma, who was also present in the hearing, belied Padilla's accusations. She said this call never happened at all.
He lied on the first hearing. The second hearing, because he was detained, might be he realized that sa kanya lahat ang siyang may kasalanan. He need a fall guy. And it's easy to just blend on the facts presented during the first hearing, and it's easy to say he feared his life.
Garma broke down in tears after the committee cited her in contempt. A lawmaker has filed a motion to send a request to the National Telecommunications Commission for the call records in 2016. Meanwhile, the Quad Committee has cited former presidential spokesperson Harry Roque in contempt again. This is because Roque failed to submit the necessary documents asked by the committee about his properties. Some lawmakers theorize that Roque got richer because of his alleged connections to POGOs. The committee will detain Roque in the Congress until he submits the documents. Roque said this is a witch hunt against the Dutertes and their allies.
Ang iniimbestigahan dito, POGO. Ano naman ang kinalaman ng mga personal records sa POGO na yan? Samantalang, yung aming family corporation na Biancham, binuo yan 2014 pa, wala pa sa Pilipinas ang mga POGO, no?
For News 5, Marian Enriquez, we are One News.
Now, to get more insights about this, we have on the line House Quad Committee Co-Chairman Representative Benny Abante.
Yes, good morning, Congressman. And ano po reaction natin sa claim ni Attorney Roque na yung Dutertes daw ay being subjected to a witch hunt by the Quadcom?
Magandang umaga po sa inyo.
Good morning.
Well, pwede niya sabihin yan, nagiging personal at politiko yan. Pero sa amin po sa Quadcom, ay hindi po, sinasabi ko nga, ang ating loyalty ay hindi po sa tao, kundi sa Konstitusyon.
Yes.
Sa ating Konstitusyon, nilagay po si dating Pangulong Duterte na Pangulo ng Pilipinas, sinuportahan po natin. Oo. Pero hindi po ito, ang Quadcom po, ay hindi po pinupuntirya ang isang pamilya. Kundi ang nais namin ay malaman ng taong bayan ang katotohanan at kami makagawa po ng mga batas, ng mga legislation na hindi na maulit pa ang mga nangyaring mga katiwalaan at mga patayan ng araw.
Yeah. I'd like to ask Congressman, ano daw kasi ang daming sinasabi rin mula sa Duterte side na ano po ang end goal ninyo dito aside from passing new bills or amending bills that we already have, may mga criminal liability kaya daw sa side ng former president?
Maaari, no? The thing is, sa amin, kagabi lang, kausap ko sa Vice Chair ng NAPOLCOM, no? Sapagkat sa kanila, ang promotion po ng mga PNP officers ay nababatay lamang sa performance basis. Sabi ko, nais natin baguhin ang charter ng NAPOLCOM na isama natin ang moral character ng mga magpupromote na Philippine National Police. Oo. Hindi lang po performance-based, kundi moral character-based para maging matino yung ating mga opisyal ng ating mga kapulisan. Yan po ang ginagawa natin. Nais nating malaman lahat ng mga batas na umiiral ngayon. For example, like, ako po ang chairman ng Committee on Human Rights. Nais natin may due process. Oo. Nais natin may due process. Kaya kung kinakailangan baguhin po ang batas, gawin natin stringent para lahat po ng kapulisan natin ay bigyan po ng due process ang kanilang mga hinuhuli.
Okay.
Going back po to former spokesperson Harry Roque, no, bukod po sa pagsasabi niya na kangaroo court na nga daw po yung nangyayari dyan sa Quadcom Committee, he is also saying nun sa mga pinapasubpi na po na mga dokumento ay specifically itong medical records ng kanyang asawa ay wala naman daw po kinalaman doon sa nagiging investigasyon ng Quad Committee.
May kinalaman po yan. Kapag kahit insan, hindi po nag-attend ng Quad Committee hearing ang kanyang asawa. Ang kanyang reason, inoperahan. Mayroong medical issue. Gusto na yung makita kung ano medical issue niya. Kaya pinapakuha po namin ang mga dokumento ng kanyang medical history. Pangalawa, kaya namin pinapatawag ang asawa niya sapagkat siyang humahawak ng mga properties ni Atty. Harry Roque. Hindi po si Harry Roque. Pati ang pera ni Harry Roque, siya po humahawak. Kaya gusto namin malaman at gusto namin iharap siya rito.
The committee have cited the former spokesperson Harry Roque multiple times in contempt. Already 3 or 4 times if I am correct. And he also said na rin po yesterday na wala na po siya talagang plano na pumunta doon sa mga magiging hearings ng Quadcom. Ano po ang magiging hakbang ng inyong committee regarding this?
Kung wala siyang planong umarap sa amin, wag siya magsasalita sa labas. Ang hirap noon, kapag siya nasa Quadcom namin, masyado siyang behave, no? Pero paglabas sa Quadcom, kung ano mo sinasabi niya laban sa amin, sana wag naman ganon. Oo. Nagiging doble kara na siya Well, anyway, pag-uusapan namin mga chairman yan, kung anong gagawin namin, sapagkat kinontempt na siya baka pa-arresto siya, baka paharapin siya sa committee hearing namin, na kahit na hindi niya gusto. Tapos siyang umarap, sapagkat yan po ang tungkulin ng Quad Committee hearing ng Kongreso.
Yes. Yes, Congressman, of course, regarding po yung hearing dyan about yung kay former President Duterte at kay Padilla. May plano po ba daw kayo ma-invite si former President Rodrigo Duterte at si Senator Bato de la Rosa sa hearing?
We are inviting former President Duterte not to accuse him of anything, not even to investigate him. Iniimbitahan namin siya upang sagutin niya ang mga akusasyon sa kanya. Yun lamang, para malaman ng taong bayan, no, ito, wala akong kasalanan dito, hindi ginawa ito. Let him air his side. At siya naman, pinipigyan namin ng pagkakataon. Siya, ang Senator Bato, upang kanilang sabihin sa taong bayan, ito pa ang kalagayan ng bansa natin.
If last question na lang, mabilis lang. Kung hindi po tumugon si former President Duterte sa inyong imbitasyon, may possibility na i-cite siya in contempt?
Hindi naman. We will not do that dahil being the former president. But we will continue to invite him. Oo. We'll continue to invite him.
Alright, we have so much question pero wala na po kaming oras. Pero sana po sa susunod ay maimbitahan pa po namin kayo ulit. Hopefully live here sa aming studio. For the meantime, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras. Promise niyo po yan.
Maraming salamat po sa inyo. Thank you so much.
Alright, that was Representative Benny Abante.
Ayan. Oo daw. Game daw si Congressman Abante. Madami kasi pag-uusapan pa natin but we have no more time. Thank you po sa Budas Belly, sa lahat ng mga nanonood sa atin. Next week na ang quote natin and that wraps up today's episode of Brunch.
Join us again on Monday, diba? Next week, I'm Angela Lagunsad Castro. And he is Angelo Casid III. We are One News, all sides, all the time. Happy weekend!